Hello, future doctors. Welcome to Synapse, your ultimate NEET preparation platform. Today, we are diving into a fascinating biological process, imbibition. While it might seem a simple concept, its implications are profound, especially in plant physiology. We'll explore imbibition from its basic definition to its complex molecular mechanisms and critical biological roles. Get ready for an enlightening journey through easy, medium, hard, and hardest levels to master this topic for NEET. Let's start with the basics. Have you ever wondered why dry seeds would swell up when they get wet? That's imbibition in action. Imbibition is a unique type of diffusion. It's the process where solid particles, known as colloids, absorb water, causing them to increase significantly in volume. Think of it like a sponge soaking up water, but at a microscopic level within biological structures. This phenomenon is primarily a surface interaction between the solid material and water molecules. Importantly, it doesn't require a semi-permeable membrane, which sets it apart from other water movement processes like osmosis. The driving force behind imbibition is a strong water potential gradient, meaning the dry solid has a much lower, more negative water potential than the surrounding liquid, pulling water into its matrix. Let's look at some common examples. The most familiar one is the swelling of dry seeds when they are placed in water. This is a crucial first step for germination. Another example is wood absorbing water. This is why wooden doors and windows can swell and get stuck during humid weather. This process is not just a physical curiosity, it's vital for life. For instance, imbibition is absolutely essential for seed germination. The absorption of water by the dry seed causes it to swell, generating pressure that helps break the tough seed coat. This allows the tiny embryo inside to start growing and activate the enzymes needed for its development. Now, let's test your understanding with a few practice questions. Question 1. What is the primary characteristic that distinguishes imbibition from osmosis? Question 2. Name 2 common examples of imbibition observed in daily life. And question 3. Why is imbibition considered essential for seed germination? Think about the physical changes it brings about. Take a moment to formulate your answers. Alright, moving on to the medium level. Here, we'll delve deeper into the factors that influence imbibition and understand the pressure it generates. Imbibition isn't just a random process, it's governed by several factors. Firstly, the nature of the imbibant itself is crucial. Hydrophilic colloids, which are substances that love water, like proteins and carbohydrates such as starch and cellulose, are excellent imbibants. Proteins, in particular, are known to be the best imbibants. Secondly, a significant water potential gradient is vital. The greater the difference in water potential between the dry imbibant and the surrounding liquid, the faster and more extensive the imbibition. Thirdly, temperature plays a role. Generally, a moderate increase in temperature can speed up the rate of imbibition as it gives water molecules more kinetic energy. Lastly, a larger surface area of the imbibant allows more points of contact for water absorption, thus increasing the imbibition rate. One of the most remarkable aspects of imbibition is the pressure it can generate, known as imbibition pressure or IP. This pressure is developed as the imbibant swells due to water absorption. This isn't a gentle force, it can be enormous, reaching up to 1,000 atmospheres in some seeds. This immense pressure is powerful enough to rupture tough seed coats, allowing the delicate radicle to emerge. It can even split rocks if roots grow into crevices and imbibe water. This phenomenon highlights the significant adhesive forces between water molecules and the imbibant's surface. Understanding IP is key to comprehending how seeds overcome physical barriers to germination. To further understand imbibition, we must consider the role of matrix potential, denoted as Im. In a dry imbibant, the strong attractive forces between its solid surface and water molecules create an extremely negative water potential. This specific component of water potential, arising from the interaction with the solid matrix, is called the matrix potential. Water naturally moves from an area of higher water potential, like pure water, to an area of lower, more negative water potential, which is the dry imbibant. This strong pull exerted by the matrix potential is the primary driving force for water uptake during imbibition, drawing water into the imbibant's structure until equilibrium is reached. Time for some medium-level questions to solidify your understanding. Question 1. List 3 factors that can affect the rate and amount of imbibition. Question 2. What is imbibition pressure, and why is it significant for seed germination? Question 3. How does the nature of the imbibant influence its capacity for water absorption? Question 4. Explain the role of water potential gradient in imbibition. And question 5. Define matrix potential and explain its importance in the context of imbibition. Take your time to think through these concepts. Now, let's step up to the hard level. We'll analyze imbibition more deeply, comparing it with osmosis and exploring its thermodynamic basis. It's crucial to distinguish imbibition from osmosis, as both involve water movement but through different mechanisms. Imbibition is the adsorption of water by solid colloidal substances without the formation of a solution, and importantly, it often doesn't require a semi-permeable membrane. Think of wood swelling. Osmosis, on the other hand, is the net movement of water across a selectively permeable membrane, driven by a difference in solute concentration, moving from a region of higher water potential to lower water potential. While imbibition primarily involves surface adsorption, osmosis involves the bulk flow of water through a membrane. Both are vital for plant life but operate under distinct physical principles. Understanding this difference is key for NEET. From a thermodynamic perspective, imbibition is a spontaneous process. This means it occurs naturally and is energetically favorable. During imbibition, there's a significant decrease in the free energy of the system. Water molecules, initially in a state of higher free energy in liquid form, move and become adsorbed onto the imbibant's surface, entering a more ordered, lower free energy state. This energy change manifests as heat released, which we call the heat of wetting or heat of hydration. This exothermic process is a fundamental aspect of imbibition, indicating the strong attractive forces between the imbibant and water molecules. This energy release is an important indicator of the strength of the interaction. At a molecular level, the ability of imbibants to absorb water stems from the presence of numerous hydrophilic groups on their surfaces. These include hydroxyl groups, carboxyl groups, and amino groups. Water molecules, being polar, are strongly attracted to these charged or polar groups. They form hydrogen bonds or dipole-dipole interactions, effectively binding the water to the imbibant's matrix. This strong molecular attraction is what accounts for the substantial imbibition pressure generated and the large volume of water that can be absorbed. This molecular interaction is the very foundation of the phenomenon we observe as swelling. This understanding helps us appreciate the intricate chemistry behind biological processes. Let's challenge your analytical skills with these hard-level questions. Question 1. How does the presence of hydrophilic groups on an imbibant's surface contribute to its water absorption capacity? Question 2. Explain the thermodynamic basis of imbibition, specifically referring to free energy change and heat of wetting. Question 3. Compare and contrast imbibition and osmosis, highlighting two key differences in their mechanisms. Question 4. Discuss the biological significance of imbibition beyond seed germination. Question 5. How might the imbibition pressure be harnessed or observed in everyday phenomena? Question 6. What role does matrix potential play in making imbibition a spontaneous process? And question 7. Can imbibition occur in non-living systems? Provide an example. Take your time to formulate comprehensive answers. All right, brave students, prepare to push your limits. We are now entering the hardest level, where we'll explore the competitive depth of imbibition, its advanced concepts, and even engineering insights. From an advanced perspective, understanding water potential components is critical. In dry seeds, the matrix potential, psi-m, is incredibly negative, often the dominant force driving water uptake. This negative psi-m draws water into the seed. As water is absorbed, the pressure potential, psi-p, increases due to swelling. The solute potential, psi-s, might initially be negligible in a truly dry seed but becomes more relevant as solutes dissolve. Therefore, the overall water potential, psi-w, of the seed, initially very low, dictates the strong pull for water. This intricate balance of potentials ensures efficient water acquisition, crucial for initiating the complex biochemical cascade of germination, making it a highly regulated process rather than just passive absorption. One fascinating phenomenon in imbibition is hysteresis. This refers to the observation that an imbibant, say a seed, will hold more water at a given water potential during desorption, drying, than it absorbed at the same water potential during adsorption, wetting. This lag can be attributed to several factors: structural changes within the imbibant's matrix during swelling and drying, or the formation of stable water bridges and pockets that are harder to remove once formed. Understanding hysteresis is important in fields like soil science, where water retention and release by soil colloids exhibit similar behavior, impacting plant water availability. It highlights the complex, nonlinear nature of water-material interactions. The heat of wetting, or heat of hydration, is a crucial concept. It's the exothermic energy released when dry hydrophilic substances absorb water. This energy release occurs because water molecules, initially in a less ordered, higher energy state, become more ordered and strongly bound to the imbibant's surface, thus lowering their free energy. In biological contexts, like a germinating seed, this released heat can cause a slight temperature increase within the seed. While often subtle, this localized temperature rise might play a role in activating specific enzymatic reactions or influencing the rate of early metabolic processes, thereby subtly impacting the kinetics of germination and early seedling development. It's a testament to the energetic favorability of the water-imbibant interaction. The extent of imbibition by proteinaceous imbibants, like those found in many seeds, is significantly influenced by pH and ionic strength. Proteins possess ionizable groups, such as amino and carboxyl groups. At their isoelectric point, proteins have a net neutral charge, leading to minimal electrostatic repulsion and thus reduced hydration and imbibition. However, as the pH shifts away from the isoelectric point, the protein gains a net positive or negative charge, increasing its affinity for water molecules and enhancing imbibition. Similarly, high ionic strength in the surrounding solution can reduce imbibition. This is because ions compete with water molecules for binding sites on the imbibant or shield the charges on the imbibant, thereby weakening the water-imbibant interaction. This fine-tuning by pH and ions highlights the sophisticated biochemical control over imbibition. Let's tackle the first 5 toughest questions. Question 1. Explain how the concept of matrix potential, psi-m, is central to understanding the initial water uptake by a dry seed. Question 2. Describe the phenomenon of hysteresis in imbibition and propose 2 possible reasons for its occurrence. Question 3. Discuss the significance of the heat of wetting in the context of seed germination, considering its energetic implications. Question 4. How do changes in pH and ionic strength specifically influence the imbibition capacity of protein-rich seeds? Question 5. Differentiate between the factors affecting the rate of imbibition versus the total amount of imbibition. Think critically about the distinctions. Here are the next 5 challenging questions. Question 6. Propose how imbibition principles are utilized in modern engineering applications, providing a specific example. Question 7. In what ways can biological control mechanisms, such as seed dormancy, regulate or prevent imbibition even under favorable external conditions? Question 8. How does the molecular structure of water contribute to its strong interaction with hydrophilic groups during imbibition? Question 9. Critically evaluate the statement, imbibition is merely a specialized form of diffusion. What are its unique characteristics? And question 10. If a seed is placed in a concentrated salt solution, what would be the expected effect on its imbibition, and why? Consider water potential principles. And that concludes our deep dive into imbibition. From simple swelling to complex thermodynamics and molecular interactions, you've journeyed through all levels of understanding. Remember, mastering such fundamental concepts is key to excelling in NEET biology. For more such comprehensive and engaging content, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for continuous learning. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep growing. See you in the next session.